This Farmers Insurance Open recap is presented by the all-new tailor-made Stealth Driver. Welcome to the Carbonwood age, and welcome to victory for Luke List. For the first time, the 37-year-old in his 206th career PGA Tour start gets the victory because Will Zalatoris could not knock this in for birdie. He comes up short. Luke List had to wait nearly 2 hours between the end of his round and the start of the playoff. Had a ridiculous up and down on 18 in regulation to get to 15 under. Will Zalatoris had a chance to win it on 18 in regulation, but missed an 8-foot putt. And how about that? A wild finish at the Farmers Insurance Open, and we have a first-time winner. Let's welcome in CBS Sports HQ golf analyst Kyle Porter. We've got a first-time winner. What's your reaction to what you just watched as Luke List defeats Will Zalatoris in a playoff to win the Farmers Insurance Open?
Well, it was awesome. You know, Luke List has had good finishes on the PGA Tour before. He played well at the Honda Classic. He's played well at major championships before. But like you said, he's never won on the PGA Tour. And he's 37 years old. You know, he's won on the Korn Ferry Tour. He's a really solid player, Hakeem, from tee to green. He's a bad putter. Had a really good putting week. And, you know, the thing that really will stick out to me that I'll remember when I think back on this tournament this time next year is kind of the way it ended for the final 2 holes for Luke List. Now, those 2 holes were about 2 hours apart, like you said, but getting up and down on the 72nd hole in regulation from 108 yards in the rough to shoot 66, you'll see that birdie there right after a bogey on 17. And then again, to hit a shot to a foot on that same hole on 18 to make birdie in the playoff to beat Will Zalatoris. That was big time stuff. And again, there was no rhythm there. One shot came at about 6:30 Eastern, the other at about 8:30 Eastern, and that's very difficult to do. It was really kind of an impressive finish in regulation, and then obviously in the playoff for Luke List.
What's so impressive is the fact that he went so long between the end of his round in regulation to the playoff, right? As you know, golf is such a rhythm sport. You got to stay momentum. I know he's putting and he's hitting the greens, he's hitting the driving range, he's doing things to stay ready. But as you know, golf is, you got to stay in the flow. You got to hit your next shot, and he has to have this long layoff, and then to have that ridiculous third shot, Kyle, on the 18th on the playoff. I mean, that was sensational to get within a couple feet of the hole. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. And it's almost worse, Hakeem, than going out, because people compare it to, oh, well, you start the first hole of the day cold. Well, yeah, that's true, but you don't warm up for 2 hours. I mean, he was working on stuff for 2 hours leading into that playoff hole. You don't do that in a normal round. You're not warming up for 2 hours and hitting balls and putting and not knowing what's going on. It's a very uncomfortable situation. And as you know, guys that are on the tour, they like routine, they like rhythm, they like the regularity that comes with knowing what's coming next. And when you don't, it can be disconcerting. And then you hit the first shot into the fairway bunker, and you're like, okay, well, yeah, of course, like I haven't, I'm all out of sorts. And so yeah, to hit that approach that he did to about a foot, I mean, that was an all-time shot and one that he'll remember for the rest of his career.
Yeah, great stuff for Luke List with his family alongside. That was a pretty special moment for him. And this is pretty cool. He was tied for 19th entering the final round. Now just the 4th player in the last 10 seasons to have won on the PGA Tour from T19 or worse through 54 holes. As for Will Zalatoris, he entered the final round tied for the lead with Jason Day. Had a chance to win on 18 in regulation, but missed an 8-foot putt. And we saw the look of exasperation on his face. The 25-year-old, Kyle, oh so close to his first PGA Tour victory, comes up short.
Well, and it took a left turn there at the end. Zalatoris, it felt like as the day wore on, you had all these guys up there jockeying for T2, T3, T4, tied for the lead. But Zalatoris was the constant throughout. He was right up there throughout the entire day. He set himself up for that birdie at the end. He just didn't make it, and you'll see the reaction there. And look, you don't make any birdies after the 6th hole. It's a tough golf course, but he didn't close on that back nine. He had a couple par 5s, including that 18th where he could have done it. But, the thing that I was impressed by all day with him, Hakeem, is how much conviction he was hitting golf shots with. The putter, we can talk about that some other time. It was not great, especially on short ones throughout the week. But he was hitting the ball with so much conviction from tee to green. It was super impressive, and it makes me excited about the rest of his 2022.
Yeah, and I'll also point out, when he was on 18 in regulation, perhaps a little bit of adrenaline, right? He obviously is pulling driver there. He goes wayward with the driver, then gets back in the fairway and is still able to set himself up for that 8-foot birdie putt, but he misses. But still, he was able to kind of come back there, essentially like a veteran move for a really young guy on tour who's so close to really breaking through.
Well, it was it. And when you hear him talk, even, obviously you can see the confidence when he's playing, but when you hear him talk, he was talking on Friday after the third round about how he's always considered himself a good major championship type player. And this is a guy he's 25 years old. He's only played in a handful of major championships, but this is a golf course that's set up like a major championship, which I think is what he was referencing there. So he has a ton of confidence. He actually kind of, I think, has some low key swagger about him, which is, you got to have it. I mean, you got to have that at this level on the PGA Tour to have a lot of success. So I'm excited about him. Again, the putter was not great throughout. He missed some just horrific putts from inside of 5-6 feet that looked horrible. But from tee to green, he's so good, Hakeem. I mean, he's just unbelievable off the tee. The iron play is elite. I'm fired up about the rest of his year.
Yeah, looking forward to continuing to watch him as the rest of the season goes on. Really nice, pleasant surprise as well from former world number one Jason Day. He had won the Farmers twice in his career, both in a playoff, was looking to win for the first time on tour since 2018. Had a spectacular hole out for eagle on the par 4 14th, but then had back-to-back bogeys on 16 and 17. Birdie on 18, comes up short. What'd you see from Jason Day and what it means for him to be in contention again at a tournament like this?
Well, yeah, this shot on 14 was the shot of the tournament until Luke List put it to a foot in the playoff. I think for Day, it's a little bit of what he used to do, which is pretty solid throughout the bag. He used to lean on driver maybe more than he does right now, but the putter was working again, Hakeem. He was the number one putter in the world for 2, 3, 4 years, and that's been the club that he's kind of struggled with over the last few years, along with the iron play hasn't been great. But he putted it really well. He was top 15 in this field in strokes gained with a putter. It's good. Look, it's good to see him kind of bounce back. He's ranked number 129 in the world right now, which is not good. Jason Day should not be ranked outside the top 100 in the world, but he is. And now you start to look at, okay, is this a regeneration, not of his career, but maybe his season? Maybe this is kind of a launching pad for the rest of his season and what he could go on to do. So I'm excited about it. It's always good to have guys that were former world number ones that have as much talent as Jason Day in the mix, and hopefully he'll stay there as we head into the rest of this California swing.
Well, current world number one Jon Rahm and reigning U.S. Open champ also comes up short. Carded an even par 72 in round 3, but was in contention in the final round. Had a sweet birdie on 17, chance to tie the lead on 18. Just not enough good shots. What's your takeaway from Rahm's return to Torrey Pines?
Well, my takeaway for him is I think I'm a little disappointed. The final third, he's playing in the final group going into Friday's third round. He's right where he wants to be, and then he just doesn't get it done over the final 36. And we can talk about the fact that if you exclude the Fortinet Championship last fall, in his last 10 PGA Tour events, he's only lost to 35 guys, Hakeem, which is extraordinary. I mean, it's an unbelievable stat. But you got to win some of these. He had an opportunity at the Tournament of Champions. He's had a lot of opportunities over the last 9 months or so, and he's only officially won one of those events, the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines last June. So it's weird to say that you're disappointed in a guy who finishes T3, even the number one player in the world, but you got to convert some of those opportunities that you give yourself, and Rahm hasn't done that so far. So again, only optimism about what the rest of his year looks like. But I will say, I think you're going to start to hear a little bit more criticism for like, man, you're always there. Figure out how to get it done late in these events. Jon
Rahm's first PGA Tour victory came at this event in 2017, the Farmers Insurance Open, and Luke List with his first victory at the Farmers Insurance Open at 37 years old in his 206th career PGA Tour start. Gets it done in a playoff over Will Zalatoris. Kyle Porter breaking it down for us here on HQ. Kyle, thanks. Great stuff as always from Kyle Porter. And for more awesome golf content, join Rick Gehman and his crew on the First Cut podcast. Kyle Porter alongside Greg Ducharme, Mark Immelman, and Jonathan Coachman, a cavalcade of stars. You get tournament previews, including DFS picks and analysis. You'll also get round-by-round reaction to each PGA Tour event, including this one, the Farmers Insurance Open. The First Cut Podcast. Download and subscribe today. Future of driver performance begins with the 60X Carbon Twist Face, comprised of 60 layers of carbon sheets strategically arranged for better energy transfer and faster ball speeds across a large area of the face. Scan the QR code on your screen to learn more.